Hi, it's Hilton here from Cant to Can, and I'm talking about an interview I did with John Broadbent. John wrote a book called Man Unplugged, a terrific book, and this particular part of the video is all about getting in touch with feelings. Now, guys don't really like to talk about feelings particularly much, apart from maybe one or two of them, usually anger or resentment, something like that. But often we have all kinds of other feelings, and it's not okay to talk about them. This is where John normalises what it is to even have feelings, how they are for men, what our inner landscape is, and above all, what happens to us when we do get in touch with our feelings, when we find out a bit more about who we are. Very useful video. I'm sure you'll enjoy it as much as I have. Thank you. So I know a lot of men resist doing anything like this because it means that I might have to get into some vulnerability.
Yes.
I might have to look at my world as I perceived it to be was all about being tough, being strong, being resilient, being successful. That's really important for me. It sounds to me like you're talking like I've got to get in touch with some feelings. I don't know what feelings are. I don't even know why the hell anybody would do this kind of crap, you know. What's the point? You know, I'm happy, kind of, you know, I mean, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. I think I'm happy.
I love that.
Why would I even want to get more vulnerable and weak?
How do you feel? I think I feel good.
Well, I'm just, you know.
I love that phrase.
I think I feel good. Well,
yeah, but you hear that a lot from men. How do you feel? I think I feel good.
I think I feel good.
So
yeah,
it's,
right.
How can you think you feel?
How do you think you feel?
You know, you don't. You feel.
Yeah, you
don't think you feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And as you said before, it's that transition from the head to the heart. It's about getting out of our heads and thinking that things are as they are and really being honest. A phrase that I would...
It's interesting you say really being honest. So, in other words, the facade maybe of my life. So
the mask we live in.
Hmm?
The mask we live in.
The mask we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or masks.
Yeah. The mask, that's right.
I mean, if you talk to the family of a guy who's in that challenge at the moment of mid-40s, perhaps not happy, not knowing where to go, but the facade of going to work, you know, working in a Big Four bank or a Big Four consulting house or whatever it is, in that whole sort of corporate image, if you went and spoke to his wife and kids, and you then spoke to his cyclist friends or his, you know, rowing friends or his whatever sports the guy's into, if he's into anything at all, but you'd find that the way that his children would describe him, his wife would describe him, his workmates would describe him, his social people would describe him, that he's actually probably 4 or 5 different people.
No, right, yeah.
And he would have a different mask for his family than he would have for his work, than he would have for his social scene. Or his, you know, Friday night out with the boys situation. And I've certainly learned from my life and talking with other men that we're very, very good at bullshitting ourselves.
Right.
And I don't know whether you found that out to be the case.
Right. Oh, well, totally.
Yeah.
You know, totally.
So the first step is in order to...
Well, because that was the only self-esteem I had, was to believe that I was okay and my life was the way it was supposed to be. I mightn't have altogether been happy, but I didn't know what else there was. Yes. So I just would hang on to that.
Yes. And you think you're happy.
Well, I'm supposed to be happy. Yeah. I don't even know what happiness is.
And that's what I was leading the question.
Yeah,
you think you're happy, but you don't actually know what happiness is because you've never experienced true happiness. Yeah. So you don't actually have a frame of reference again.
No, that's right.
And then I started this process and then started to unbaggage and unburden myself and then started to have these glimpses of bliss and happiness and peacefulness. And quieten my chatter and feeling better about myself and learning to trust myself in certain situations which I didn't do before. And the more I did it, the better I felt, the happier I became. And it wasn't thinking I was happy, I was actually feeling happy. Yeah, right. And I went, wow, I've been carrying all this baggage. The way I see it is that we've got this big black Santa sack on our back filled with stuff. Yeah. And it's beliefs and values and acculturation and you should be this and you should be that. And no one ever says that we actually have permission to put that big black Santa sack down,
Yeah.
open it up,
Yeah.
and take out the brick and look at it, and that's a value of something. I have to be this way. And you go, well, is that my value, or is it my dad's?
So a value would be just explain a value briefly. You open up, there's the brick of a value.
I have to be stoic.
I have to be stoic.
As an example.
I have to be tough.
Yeah, I have to be tough.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
at all costs.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know,
Yeah.
the stereotype of that
Yeah.
man, the Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
And you look at that and you go, well, is that true?
Is that true?
That was my dad,
Right.
but did it serve him? Is that me and is it serving me? Well, actually, no, I don't want to be stoic. I want to be open-hearted and connect with my kids and my partner, etc. And well, actually, that's not serving me. Chuck it out
Yeah, right.
and replace it with something else.
Yeah.
And that self-assessment of actually unpacking that Santa sack. And sometimes you look at it, there's a belief in there, and you go, not sure. Just put it back
Yeah.
and carry it till the next time you want to take a look at the Santa
right,
sack.
right.
But I see a lot of men travelling through life, particularly in their sort of late 50s and 60s, who've missed that midlife opportunity,
Yeah.
still carrying around that big black sack. And I see it from the outside looking in, and it's a tragedy.
Yeah. And I know that there was a book, a corporate book written a long time ago, a business book, and it talked about working in the business and working on the business. And I suppose that's like life, you might say, is that I can be in my life, but if I actually look at what's here, I can start looking kind of at my life, or as opposed to being in it.
Yes.
And I can have a kind of a bit of time out just to think, is this the life I want to be leading? What is even the stuff I'm carrying around? You know, did I even know it existed? And that's not an altogether comfortable journey to go on.
Not at all.
But I guess the alternative
The most difficult, challenging, uncomfortable, painful journey I've ever done, and worth every second.
Yeah.
In the moments of the depths of despair and pain and really unpacking parts of myself that I really didn't know that I had, and was probably quite ashamed of my behaviour at times in my life. And I think I need to make a distinction
Hands up for
there.
any man that's been ashamed of his behaviour in the past.
Exactly. You know,
Absolutely.
and I think there's a distinction that needs to be made here between being shamed and feeling ashamed.
Yeah, right.
And I just make a distinction in that being shamed is someone external to us saying, you know, you're a bad person because.
Right.
It could be sexual orientation, it could be skin colour, it could be, you know, whatever other prejudices that people have.
Yeah.
But feeling ashamed for me was when I realised that I'd behaved in a way that was not conducive to the person that I thought I was. It wasn't to my level of authenticity.
Yeah, right.
And to be honest, I found feeling ashamed, as painful as it was, to be the greatest motivator to change my behaviour.
Oh, right.
Because I didn't like feeling ashamed.
No,
But to do that, I had
behaved in the past.
but to do that, I had to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Have I behaved in a way that is conducive to who I believe I want to live life as a professional human being? And if it's not, then I need to change my behaviour. And the motivating factor was feeling ashamed about how I behaved.
Right, okay.
And then to have to go to someone and apologise from that genuine, vulnerable place that you mentioned before,
Yeah.
it's as scary as hell.
Yeah.
However, every time I've done that in my life, I've been moved to tears, and the reception from the person that I've offended in some way has been tremendous. I don't think in the times that I've done that in my whole life has anyone ever taken advantage of me in that vulnerable position.
Right. And instead, they've actually welcomed the honesty, the authenticity.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a genuine human being who's apologised for making a mistake.
And I couldn't do that when I was lacking in self-worth.
Yeah, right. Look, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we want to make a positive difference around the world if we can. So the invitation is to subscribe below at the subscribe button there, and by doing that, you actually expand what we can do, the amount of people that we reach, the positive difference we make. So if you subscribe, that really helps. Thank you.